All right, it's episode 21 of the podcast.
21, mate. We're legally allowed to drink in the States. So, yeah, let's hook right in.
Rightio. So what do we have in this episode?
So this episode, mate, we've got my spin on a famous meat church smoked dessert. Also going to do a bit of a Meatstock New Zealand recap. And we've got some collaborative podcast art by Sigh coming up. And, all round, just another cracking episode.
All right, well, let's jump right into it. And before we get started with our regular segments, I thought we'd recap Meatstock New Zealand. So we're just back. We're fresh from Meatstock New Zealand, and it was a pretty epic event, I've got to say.
Mate, it was unreal. I've been dying to get back there. I haven't been there for a Meatstock in 5 years. I have been back other times, but, mate, the itch was well and truly scratched this weekend.
Yeah, so look, when it comes to events, so many things can go wrong. I suppose the most obvious thing is the weather, but we had great weather all weekend. We had 4,000 people on the Friday and then 11,000 people on the Saturday. So pretty good numbers, and New Zealand came out to represent, which is great.
Not many places can pull off this sort of vibe, you know. It went from reggae to, metal and then live drum and bass to finish the night, and it was absolutely spectacular on a musical front. But all round, the festival vibes are great. Everyone was in great spirits. The Kiwis really get around it. Yeah, everyone was pretty well behaved too, which is always a good thing.
Yeah. Well, I think when you add food to alcohol, it kind of soaks up a lot of the alcohol. And I think once you add kids or families into the equation, you just don't get a lot of aggro.
Yeah, and family being the key word, it is one big family over there as far as the barbecue scene's concerned. And yeah, all round, mate, it was just a real cup-filling weekend.
Yeah, and from our point of view as a promoter, it all went pretty smoothly. There's so many things about a festival that you don't think about. Like, for example, rubbish removal. We've got to serve 20,000 meals. That's 20,000 lots of rubbish. It's got to be recycled properly. I don't know how many beverages we went through, but 20,000 plus. Anytime you put that many people into a space like this, some people are just not going to enjoy themselves for whatever reason. But, we do what we do, and hopefully people like it and keep supporting us.
And what a great venue Mystery Creek is, though. It was my first time there, and it is tailor-made for something of this scale, and it was just epic.
Yeah, it's a fantastic venue. The team there are really great to work with as well. If you don't know, Hamilton's about an hour and a half out of Auckland, which is the most populous city of New Zealand. It's not that far away. It's a great venue. We offer camping. But it's not lost on me how special it is to do an event of this scale around barbecue in a country like New Zealand and even Australia. We just don't have big populations. So to do something on this scale, I think is pretty cool.
You've absolutely nailed it, mate. It was a cracking weekend, and we're already getting excited for next year.
Yeah, and on that, before we get started, I want to shout out to Wayne Dill, Luke Seeney, Jared McDonald and Matt Turnwald. They just go above and beyond from New Zealand to help us in New Zealand. So obviously we live in Australia, but those guys do a lot of the groundwork for me over there, and they have since day dot. They always help. They never ask for anything. And without those guys, an event like this just wouldn't happen.
Absolute GCs.
Some more photos. Oh, Stevie up on the stage there. The crowd for the eating competition was wild.
It was. They needed more chairs, though.
And there's the boys from Traeger representing, so they did a great job as well.
Always do. Always come out dressed to impress. Yeah, I'm disappointed I didn't snag one of those shirts this year.
Yeah, they're pretty cool, aren't they?
I've still got the limited edition overalls that they did last year.
They were cool.
They're sick.
All right, let's jump straight into this week's episode. So it's the fuck up of the week. While we're on that, this is your opportunity to just click the like button, subscribe to what we do, and also leave us a comment. Comments are super important. As we troll through these episodes, if you spot something we've said wrong or you'd like to give us your 2 cents, just leave it in the comments. It goes a long way to kind of helping the algorithm get our podcast out there a bit more.
It sure does. But if you're going to troll, be careful, because we'll troll back.
All right, let's watch this first one. It was posted by the Wright Farm Rogue Valley. The comments were turned off, which is a bit weird. But the caption said, "Farming is risky for a reason." So let's watch it.
Oh, Jesus.
So what are we looking at here?
We've got a wild pig by the look of it that has just absolutely yeeted himself at this poor farmer. He's just got out of the way. If that thing had bigger tusks, he would have lost a calf muscle, I reckon.
I can't believe the pig can jump that high.
Mate, pigs can fly.
Well, that one did.
Yoink.
So on that, wild boars or feral hogs, they scare me. Do you know they can run up to 50 kilometres an hour?
It's just like a keg with razor wire on the front.
They can swim, they eat snakes, and they run faster than Usain Bolt.
Wow.
If he can't outrun these things, I've got no chance. So the average human can run about 19 kilometres an hour. This pig is going to catch you in a running race, and apparently they have endurance.
Oh, wow. Got the stamina to keep up too. Just imagine someone rolling a beer keg down a hill with spikes on it. That's what you got to get out of the way of when one of these comes at you.
Yeah. And if you look at this video closely enough, there's someone antagonising it from the window. Have a look.
Yeah, they're trying to get him in the pen with the flag, and he's just decided, no, I'm not going through the gate. I'll split the middle, thanks.
All right, let's move on to the next one. This one was posted by Carl J.G. Ankler. People have such complicated names. And it was titled, "Why is my pizza taking so long?" So let's watch.
The money shot. Old mate's just spilt the big tub of tomato sauce on the counter, and the other one's fallen down and just hit him with the money shot in the eye. Poor bugger's probably on $6 an hour. He's not getting paid enough to deal with this, bro.
No, if this was me, this would be my last day. I would walk straight out. I wouldn't even bother cleaning that up. I'd cry.
Pow, right in the kisser.
So what's happened here is there's a pizza shop worker. They're carrying 2 huge tubs of pizza sauce, and he's dropped the first one, which is spilt all over the bench, and then dropped the second one on the floor, which is splashed up right in his eyes.
Classic.
Oh, dear. Okay, let's move on. Dishes of the week.
This is becoming one of my favourites.
Well, I just love seeing other people be creative. I really do.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, what do you make of this?
That looks sensational, mate. There's a bit of Asian fusion going on there, and I'm all about it.
So believe it or not, this is a platter served at a barbecue restaurant in a well-known, well-respected barbecue restaurant called Blue Ox Bay Barbecue in New Zealand, and it was titled "The Very Best of Both Worlds, our award-winning Asian fusion and low and slow barbecue all under one roof." And what we're looking at here is a platter of what looks to be Thai-inspired Asian food.
Yeah, I can actually vouch for Blue Ox Babe providing me with the best barbecue feed I've ever had in a restaurant. Back in 2020, I had the pleasure of going there, and a few heavy hitters in the kitchen. You had Ants Tudavake and Shani from FARQ, both as pit masters at the time, and I still remember the pork rib I had there. It was just salt and pepper, no sauce. The most memorable barbecue feed I've ever had. But during the COVID times and that sort of thing, I've helped Mark with a lot of his branding and that, and they sort of swayed towards the Asian fusion just to offer something new, because you had to evolve in those times, and as far as the food goes, they've nailed it.
Yeah, so I don't really know if they use any low and slow methods to cook this food, but it's cool regardless and nonetheless. And this picture really drives it home for me. And what we're looking at here is a couple of trays of barbecue next to some bento boxes, which have got some of these Asian-inspired dishes that they're doing. And so you can sit down, enjoy some low and slow barbecue, and also sort of cut through it with some Asian dishes. And for me, this is like my 2 favourite things together.
That picture there is just when worlds collide, but in a great way. You've got such vibrant, beautiful, fresh colours going on there too. That's a good-looking spread.
It's a match made in heaven. All right, this ticks a lot of boxes for me, so well done to those guys. Okay, next. This one was posted by Hook and Catch near Glasgow, which apparently regularly goes viral for its creations.
And you can tell that it's Scottish because it's deep fried. They pretty well take anything, batter it and fry it over there. It must be the cold.
So it's a giant Yorkshire pudding loaded with a battered sausage, chips, melted cheese, and then the whole thing is battered again and fried and then drenched in gravy.
It's going to be an experience, that's for sure. It's not something I'm lining up for. But all those things separately, not battered and fried, I'd be pretty keen on. But yeah, if it floats your boat, mate, sink it.
A lot of people said they didn't really rate the cheese, the addition of the cheese. Cut that out.
Yeah, right.
And Colin Davis in the comments says, does it come with a side of Gaviscon?
I'd be more worried about the blood thinners, mate, to try and pump the cholesterol through.
In other news, I'm pretty sure the life expectancy in Glasgow is now down.
Just wash it down with a bottle of Buckfast, mate, and you'll be cheering.
Right, on to the next dish of the week.
This looks like a nail at the start, but I think he's gotten very adventurous.
Yeah, so this one was posted by Smokey Pastures Barbecue, and it was captioned, "This one goes out to the chili heads." And he was inspired to create an Oklahoma smash burger, but instead of using onions, he's replaced the onion with jalapeno. It's the jalapeno smash burger.
Or jalapeno face.
It looks pretty good, though.
It looks cracking.
So he did say afterwards, as good as this looks, he should have deseeded the jalapenos because it was bloody hot. And he said it was so hot, he really couldn't eat it. And he's going to offer to hand in his chili card.
One thing I've learnt the hard way lately is my chili tolerance is disappearing, much with my flexibility.
I think it all depends. You can get a false sense of security sometimes because you eat some chilies and you're like, oh, okay, I can handle heat.
Yeah.
But I think there's levels to the game, and you get a chili sometimes that just knock you.
Oh, for sure.
Right, on to the news. We have had some videos go viral.
Once again, we have, and it's all about starting fights in the comment. I've got a new name for them too. Fahrenheiters.
Fahrenheiters.
That's the name for all you guys out there.
All right. Well, I'm going to play this one in the background while we talked about it. But this video did 2 million views. Now, anytime anything goes viral, the comments turn into a bit of a cesspool. It's just the way it is. And you probably shouldn't read them. And you probably shouldn't bite back. But I do. This was a bit of a tongue-in-cheek. I thought it was tongue-in-cheek. I thought our sarcasm did shine through a little bit. And we were comparing a house that was in Maryland, to a house that's in Silverwater in Sydney. And it triggered a lot of people. At the time, I thought to myself, here's a property with a lot of cars. Here's another property with a lot of cars. The differences are pretty stark. Let's kind of make a bit of a joke about it. But people took it really seriously.
People did. Some people said, oh, you guys are comparing apples to oranges. Well, I prefer to say we're pretty well comparing apples to tyres, mate. That's how fucking different they were. Take a joke.
So we must have trended on some sort of real estate niche, and they were mortified by a few things. But the main thing they were mortified was our currency conversion and also the comparison between a sort of inner city property and a country dwelling. So that were the two main big things that people picked up in the comments. Look, I think if you're going to compare two properties and you're going to do an apples for apples comparison, there's way more to think about than just those two things. But regardless of all that, we did, for the sake of humour, kind of simplify our video. We only had 90 seconds. We simplified the process. We made it a bit of fun. And we kind of ignored the location and we kind of ignored the exchange rate.
Yeah, we did. But, you know, we're still having a bit of a laugh at the end of the day.
Yeah, but look, to our defence, Silverwater's about 15 kilometres from the Sydney CBD, right? This place in Maryland is around about 30 miles from Washington, DC. Now, the difference between getting from door to door in a car from both of those places to the properties that we featured is 15 minutes. It's 30 minutes to get from the Sydney CBD to Silverwater, and it's 46 minutes to get from Washington, DC to Maryland.
Well, the thing is that 15 kilometres at the wrong time of day can take you 2 bloody hours in Sydney.
Yes. So make of that what you will. So the other thing they picked on us about was my pronunciation of Maryland. Now, I'm looking at it and it says Maryland. But what is it?
It's Maryland.
But how?
I don't know, mate. They're out to get you, don't you know?
Well, I can't pronounce at the best of times, but yeah, Maryland is how you pronounce it. Okay? So there's that. But then there was also this, and this was my favourite part of all the comments. So 10 years ago, our dollar was worth parity. It was actually worth more than the US dollar at one point there, right? 3 years ago, it was like 80 cents. But today it sits at 63 cents or something like that. Now, we got a bit hot and loose with our figures and we kind of ignored the exchange rate when we did our comparison. But to put things in an apples to apples comparison, the property that we featured and the exchange rate works out to be $4.9 million in Australian currency today.
So all these experts are way fucking off. So
we had so many people flick us a message to tell us just how wrong we were. It was actually $5.6 million. So Sass Shooter here is about 700 grand off. So he's corrected us, but then been wrong by $700,000. And I'm going to flick through these really quickly, but Johnny, $6 million. He's, I don't know, a cool $1.1 million off. Perko, $6 million. I'm going to skim through these. $6 million against the odds. He's also out by $1.1 million. So yes, we were a bit fast and loose with our exchange rate, but there's dozens of these. Everyone seems to think it's double. And this is the one that kind of caught me because this guy's like a professional motivational speaker. He's also out by $1.1 million, but left us a big long comment. And this was the worst one. Chris Sheehy says, try $6.2 million, you dumbass. He called us a dumbass and he's wrong by $1.3 million.
That's another house. That's a good 7-bedroom house in Tuncurry, mate. Dumbass.
So, thanks, Chris, for your comment there. We take these things to heart.
We do. I cried myself to sleep.
All right. Well, I will say this. A lot of pages, if they get comments, they kind of just let it slide. But I kind of enjoy having a bit of banter in the comments, even if we are wrong.
It is. It's always good. Always room for some your mum jokes in there too.
Okay. All right. Now, the viral videos haven't finished. Here's another one we went viral on. We got about 1 million views on this video, and it's me and you talking about a tray of water.
Yes. If you were to basically pick the most boring subject ever, this could be it. But it's probably one of our most successful videos, and the arguments came out of nowhere, really.
Yeah, the picture didn't even change.
No.
The whole time we talked, the picture never changed. It's just that tray of water.
Dirty tray of water.
So we won't go into the details of the comments because we've already rattled on about the last video, but I will say this. If one person had to watch the amount of views of this video back to back, it would take them 206 days of non-stop watching to get through how much time people wasted on me and you talking about water.
That's spectacular. Just goes to show we know nothing about where our algorithm's at.
No. I do love the internet. Wait till they watch the video about rocks in a smoker. I think that's going to be popular too. All right. Well, we'll see if we can get a viral video out of rocks like we did water.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Let's get away from all this stuff and let's get on to something that's actually fun. This is failed or nailed, and this is where I get to throw you under a bus and you've got to tell me whether the dish is failed or nailed. Quick draw McGraw. You've got to give us your first impression and then we can talk about it.
Oh, another opinion-based segment.
Okay. Let's jump into it.
Nailed. I sent you it. That's why I nailed. This is Greg's Benedict.
Yes, it was posted by Red Nuo, and it says, "What's the matter, babe? You've not even touched your Greg's Benedict."
So I'm a massive fan of Eggs Benedict, and when I lived in the UK, I was also a very poor fan of the pastry chain Greg's. And these are two of my loves combined, and I would absolutely smash that.
So what's inside it? Is it minced beef or potatoes or?
It's a bit of both. I mean, you can get different fillings, but normally it's sort of their knockoff version of the Cornish pasty. So you've got your ground beef and your savoury vegetables in there. So these ones sort of are more in a sort of pasty texture. But for 99p, mate, when you're a struggling backpacker who wants to spend all his money on surfing overseas, these things slap.
So for those that can't see, we've got two pastries on top of some English muffins with cracked eggs on top, and it looks like an Eggs Benedict.
Beautifully poached eggs, yeah. And a bit of hollandaise on the side there. Would smash.
Okay. Well, Jonathan in the comments said, this must be from the year 2056 because this is the future.
It is. A lot of the US audience too would be like, how dare this guy flex with 2 eggs?
The cost of eggs in America has gone out of control, hasn't it?
It was out of control in New Zealand too. I think it's just something to do with the bird flu or something like that.
Okay.
Let's not go into it. I think it's political.
Yeah, okay. Let's move on. So James T says, well, that's Valentine's Day dinner sorted. Very romantic dish.
Hell yeah. Just get it in there before the farts start.
Okay, next.
To me, that is a nailed.
Right. Well, this was posted by Shipwrecked Souls and it was titled Picanha, Smash or Pass. This was my first time. How did I do?
For the first time, it's great. You could probably render that fat down with a different cooking technique next time, but that's the perfect amount of doneness for me. And if you just hit that and build a crust on that real quick sear, I reckon you're winning.
Yeah, for me, it looks like that fat is actually pre-rendered. It just doesn't have the char. That's all it's missing.
No, it's good. It looks like it's been pre-done in the smoker, I suppose, with that colour too. So winning.
The comment said that they would put it under the grill for a little bit to just get that fat crispy. He was also told, stop cutting it with the grain.
Yeah, that's fair, but it doesn't matter.
Well, I kind of think it's wrong, right? Because you don't really serve it sliced like that. You cut it again.
Yeah.
Because you usually serve picanha in sort of smaller strips. So you cut it with the grain and then against the grain before you serve it. So, look, to be honest, I don't know if there's a right or a wrong way, but my idea would be that you cut it with the grain and then against the grain.
If you're going to hit that again on the sear, it's all going to be sliced against anyway. So, yeah, it's all love.
Okay, next.
Fucking failed.
So this one was posted by Virtual Discipline and it is cheddar brats served cold, mind you. They're not even heated, with mayonnaise, cheese and honey mustard on a bun.
That's some dubious looking mayonnaise there, bro.
So in the comments, Honey says it's a jizzy cheese dog.
There is nothing unprocessed about that meal. The whitest of breads, the most unnatural mayonnaise, plastic cheese, and then some cold snags.
It does look pretty rough. One comment said, looks like rock bottom.
Just do less.
Oh, do it better, really. Okay, moving on. Photos of the week. So moving on from our failed or not failed, these are a few photos that caught our eye for different reasons on the internets. And this is the first one that caught my eye. And this is a photo by Ministers of Smoke on Instagram. His name's Joshua McGregor. He's a photographer. And this photo is of Jeremy Archer from Agape Barbecue in Liberty Hill in Texas.
It looks like me every time I stand near a fire and the fucking smoke won't stop getting in my eyes.
That beaming light shining through the smoke in that photo, it's just an epic moment in time, I guess.
Yeah, it's unreal. It just looks like the calm before the storm too, you know. He's just got the smoker absolutely humming, you know. He's just shut the firebox again and, yeah, just getting ready for another slaughtering, I reckon.
And one thing I would say is if you're around barbecue or near barbecue a lot, you don't realise how bad you smell. Like if you go to a barbecue festival or you're barbecuing all day, put your shirt aside, smell it in the morning.
If you're not standing next to a smoker, you're probably next to a deep fryer too. So that's another really nice smell that doesn't come out.
Okay, so Joseph is a Dallas-based barbecue photographer. He also teaches photography. He takes people on location to shoot at working smoky barbecue pit rooms and then teaches them his secrets about photography. And he shot a lot of really good pitmasters.
And they're sort of semi-candid too, which is good. I mean, Franklin's obviously got a nice pose going on there, but I'm really, really interested to know more about this guy.
Yeah, so you can buy his prints of your favourite pitmasters on his website.
Unreal.
So I consider myself to be a bit of a B-grade photographer. I take my camera everywhere. I go on holidays. I try and take pictures. But there's levels to the photography game. And to the point where I wanted to blow up some pictures at home of holidays that I've been on. And so I went and got my photos, went to blow them up. And just before I sent them off to the company that blows the photos up, I looked on stock photos for the same places. And let's just say the photos at home on my wall of my holidays they're not my photos. They're actually someone has taken photos at the same angle and the same place, and they're just way better than mine.
Yeah, right. You got to back yourself a bit more, mate.
Anyway, look, Ministers of Smoke on Instagram, give him a follow, buy a print, take a class. The guy's an epic photographer.
It's not what I want to hear, mate, considering you photographed my wedding.
Someone could have done a better job. But, all right, let's move on. Videos of the week. Let's jump straight into the first one. I'm going to play it while we talk about it. This one is from a butcher shop located in Slovakia.
Yeah, cool.
So it was titled, "We are now testing new technology for smoking." I don't even really know what that means, but the excitement is real. They get really excited in this video.
Yes, no pizza!
I'd be happy too. That pulled apart beautifully.
Yeah, look, I'm pretty excited for him because I think he actually swears there in a Slovakian. But I think when you're into barbecue and the first time you really nail something that just falls apart, it's a pretty cool moment in time, isn't it?
It's a good feeling when you got the heat-proof gloves on and it's almost like a moment of clarity where you're like, this could go very wrong here. But then when it pops through, it's a good sensation.
Well, I'm going to say here, if you watch closely enough, he does burn the shit out of his hands because he doesn't have cotton gloves on underneath.
Yeah, there's
those
no
gloves.
inners under there.
Oh, there's the pain right there.
Yeah, and if you don't get those gloves off quick, it'll keep burning. We've all done it.
We've all been there. So yeah, next time, get some cotton gloves under those blue gloves and you'll be able to do that a lot easier without burning your fingers. But great job. And cool to see people discovering low and slow barbecue in places like Slovakia.
Hell yeah.
Okay, next one. This one's weird.
I'm into it, bro.
Well, this was posted by Booster Bitch, that's her name, and it was filmed at Meatstock in New Zealand, and the caption was, "My favourite things, Pokemon, barbecue, and Devil Skin." Now, Devil Skin is the band playing, so she's at a barbecue festival, and what's happening here?
So she's doing what they call breaking a pack open of Pokemon cards. And during COVID, I was right into this sort of thing with basketball cards. What you do is, because you quite often can't afford to pay for a whole box of cards, you sign up to what they call a break. Moonshine used to do them all the time. So what you do is you pay for a spot and you get allocated a team. They then break open all the packets live so you can watch and see what comes out, and then all the cards are distributed out once everyone's paid for their team. So if you draw the Lakers, any LeBron card or whatever that comes out, you get that card sent to you because you've paid for your spot. Good fun.
Right, okay. Well, learn something new every day. The one thing I would say is, how do you explain what you're doing to the people around you?
Well, you've pretty much got to be into what she's doing. Old mate in the Cobra in front of her, he doesn't really know what's going on behind him, but yeah, Devil Skin rock.
They did a great job. Okay, on to talking points. I love this one. I love stirring you up over this too. This
is the gift that keeps on giving, this fucking video.
So in our very first episode, we played a video of a smoker on fire, and Boomer was the pitmaster. And you gave him a bit of shit and said that his barbecue must have been dirty and that fires like this don't just happen by themselves.
True.
Right? And I think he's dirty at you still, because he's posted this to his stories, which we've screenshotted, and he doesn't look too happy. And he says here, Susie, which is the name of the barbecue, got a whole scrub twice in a week. So he's been keeping on top of his maintenance. And I just feel that this is directed at you.
I feel it, mate. He's looking straight through me.
And I'm not quite sure if it is, but I have suspicions.
Hey, look, the colour of his eyes just changed. I have a feeling that there's going to be some over-squeezing hugs happening at Meatstock Bendigo with myself and old Boomer. But it's all love. Look, you know, you threw me under the bus the first episode, basically said, tell me what's happening here.
Well, it's all love. And at the end of the day, this guy's a very talented pitmaster, but I do love to give you shit over it.
Yeah, but I also do think that his grill's a lot cleaner now too.
Well, he cleaned it twice this week.
Exactly. It'd be all those bacon jam cheeseburgers he's been slinging out of there.
Yeah, well, he looks super happy about having to clean this thing twice. Okay. Right, products. We've got a new cookbook out.
This looks awesome.
So this is someone that I've been following for a long time. His name is Jord, and I'm not even going to bother to try and pronounce his last name. You can try.
No.
Okay, on Instagram, he's Smokey Goodness, and he's from a restaurant called Black Smoke, and it's located in Rotterdam in the Netherlands.
Yeah, nice.
Not the place that jumps to mind when you think about barbecue. And he's done a ton of cookbooks. So this is his latest one, Asian Barbecue, Flames and Flavours.
Looks good. Got the hibachi cranking there. Good,
Yeah.
a bit of smoke and theatre.
I'm assuming you can buy this on Amazon. Hopefully there's a version in English, but these are some of the dishes that he's got in the cookbook.
It looks so good. It reminds me of one of the best visual things you can see at Meatstock when it starts getting dark and the hoi polloi guys are there. They're fanning their charcoal, getting it real smoky. Then they turn their laser lights on, and it's just one of the coolest things, and it really just attracts people over there because they're like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And it just looks so good, that Asian style of the hibachi and the open charcoal grills.
Well, this is a cookbook I would love to get my hands on. Okay, next product. It's one of ours.
One of ours, and if you want one, too bad, because they're pretty well gone until Meatstock Sydney.
Yeah, so look, I'm too old and I'm too fat to ride skateboards anymore. I think the last time I tried, I ended up on my back. But you know what I've discovered is, through you, they make really good wall ornaments.
They are, and I actually put a shout out online when you released these that there was a prerequisite to acquiring one of these is you had to perform a kickflip before you got one.
Well, I don't think I'm going to get one.
I
might
think
be able to ollie a gutter.
I could probably step down, but I'd also probably break something. But a lot of guys stepped up to the plate of wanting to do it, but no, we didn't conduct any kick flipping.
So these are Meatstock designed skateboard decks that we're getting done, and we're doing them proper. They're not just it's not just a sticker on top. They're actually getting done properly, and we've ordered a few for Meatstock, and once they go, they go. So we'll see how they go.
That's it. Get in quick, guys.
Okay, Mailbox. We've got some mail.
Got some good mail.
This one is from Tony. He's from Two Shorties Barbecue in Australia, and he lost a bet with another barbecue team. And we won't listen to the whole video because it goes for a while, but basically what's happening here is he's cutting his hair off after 4 years. He's running a raffle, and he's going to donate all the money to a men's health charity called Grab Life by the Balls. He's also donating his hair to kids with cancer, and it's a charity foundation that is used for wigs.
That's unreal.
Yeah, so Two Shorties Barbecue, you can DM him or PM him on Instagram. One ticket is $10 or 3 for $25 to help support the cause, and he's going to shape this beautiful locks off.
Hell yeah. Maybe you should just send us a strand and we can hang it up in the studio.
That's a bit creepy.
It is.
But I'm all for it. Okay, next bit of mailbox we got was from Matt. Now, Matt said to us, I've noticed in butcher shops that I go to, they have half briskets, points and flats. Is this just an Australian thing? Have you noticed that before?
I haven't done much brisket shopping overseas, but I actually do like it. They separate them. Quite often it can be that there might have been a mishap in the boning room or the fact that not everyone wants a whole brisket. But I am a fan of cooking half briskets because there's just less waste.
Yeah. And look, I haven't seen it anywhere else in the world where they do halves. But in Australia, it's sort of somewhat common to go into a butcher shop and see either the point or the flat separated and they're cryovac individually. I like it. I think it's cool because sometimes you either like the point or the flat and you just want one or the other. The other thing I would say is I think it's supply and demand. I really do think that people are asking for it, which is why their butcher shop is offering it in the first place. But I think the main reason is people that are getting into barbecue, they've generally got bullet smokers, kettles, and they just don't have room to cook an entire brisket in a kettle.
Yeah, we're blessed down here in Australia that we have big beef cows, so our briskets are a good size. In New Zealand, quite often they're smaller from the local New Zealand beef too. But then, potentially over in Texas, their briskets are even bigger. You're right with the supply and demand, but I'm a fan of it. I think it's a great idea.
I think a lot of people in the States probably have bigger smokers on average than what they do in Australia and New Zealand because we're just sort of starting to get into it. So a bigger brisket makes a lot of sense. But also too, $150 for a brisket and you're just getting into it. You don't want to spend that much money sort of practicing and trying to hone your craft. So practicing on a half brisket is probably a sensible alternative. And the other thing is you've made people feel very guilty about having leftovers.
It's pretty funny because I'm a massive fan of leftovers. When I trim a brisket, if I've got a whole brisket, I pretty well only cook the point and then I chop up the flat and use that because it's usually fatter, and I'll separate that into a freezer bag and use that down the track as a slow cooked curry or something like that. But yeah, my wife and we actually prefer leftover brisket than fresh brisket.
I definitely prefer leftover brisket. I don't know what it is, but just reheat it in a pan. That's all you got to do. Put a nice sort of crispy char on it and put it into an omelette or anything, Brisket and eggs for breakfast. It's fantastic.
Yeah, brisket cottage pie is a real popular one in my place.
Ooh, I love it. All right, next up, a bit of art by Sigh. There's not an episode that has gone by that we haven't featured one of your artwork. And this one here is for a radio station in New Zealand called The Rock. And this is something that you did back in 2023, I believe, and it helped raise $76,000 for Movember, which is a charity.
It sure did. So this is a collaboration between myself, The Rock Drive in New Zealand, which is a very popular radio station with Jay and Dunk, and also a company called Hunter's Element that specialise in a lot of outdoor and hunting equipment. Every year they do one of these to raise money for Movember. They print it with the high-vis colours on it, so guys actually buy these and use them as work shirts. So quite often you get companies ordering 10, 15 of these shirts so that they can, wear them on the job site and that sort of thing. But yeah, this design was, we call it the You Little Beauty. Yeah, we raised over $76,000 for the Movember Men's Health charity over there in New Zealand, and pretty good feeling, knowing that I can make something cool that people want to wear that goes and does good things for the communities.
Yeah, it's a great looking design, and that segues us on to the next one, which is a design that you did for the same guys.
Yeah, so this is for Jay and Dunk as well on The Rock. They ran a competition last year and they took some listeners over to the States where they went to Lynchburg and specifically went to the Jack Daniel's distillery where they purchased 2 barrels of select whiskey after their tasting. They brought that back to New Zealand, ended up selling that as a single barrel release, but they also too made a bit of a trip for it. They went and saw the Rolling Stones in New York. They went and saw a New York Mets game. They went to the monster trucks. They went through Nashville. They did all the sort of things. It was a real bucket list trip, and it was Jay and Dunk with the hosts of that weekend, and brought back some barrels of Jack Daniel's, which leads to this one.
What do we got here?
So I got to actually design the limited edition box that it came in. If you want one of these, too bad, they're fucking gone. They sold out in under 24 hours. Yeah, so what I did is I wanted it to basically look like a little boombox. So that's the front. All the stickers here are indicative of parts of the trip, like GC Edition, heaps good, Jay and Dunk Select. But then on the front here, you put it on the side, you've got a little boom box. I went to New York, Lynchburg, Tennessee, Nashville, all that sort of thing. And yeah, I wanted it to be something that, once you finish the bottle, you can still use the boxes as something cool to look at too. So
it's a good little bit of art to put up in the background.
Yeah, mate, I'm pretty stoked with it. It's sort of modelled it off a little red boombox I had back in the day. So yeah. Stoked, bro.
Very cool. What an epic collab between you, The Rock, and Jack Daniel's.
Yeah, and it's just been a really good partnership with me and those boys. I mean, I don't drink myself anymore, but I love doing that sort of thing and just bringing ideas to life.
Yeah, super, super cool. And I will say this, if you do get a chance to get to Lynchburg, Tennessee, it is a really remarkable place. I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty confident that every single drop of Jack Daniel's is made in Lynchburg, Tennessee. And at the same time, it is still a quaint little town.
Cool.
It's like a movie set. That's the only way I'd explain it. It's like a movie set, but it's real. Crazy. Anyway, if you get a chance, Lynchburg, Tennessee. Okay, featured tattoos. So let's jump straight into this one, and I'm going to play the video while we talk. But this is from Jacob Cross, and he's a tattoo artist from Hamilton in New Zealand, and he came to Meatstock along with a heap of other tattooists from a studio called Skinks. And in between eating barbecue, he has smashed out a ton of really well-done tattoos, and there's some awesome work here.
Oh, mate, we could have had 10 Jacobs and it wouldn't have been enough with how much the demand for tattoos was. I mean, remember when we tossed up the idea to have tattoos at Meatstock, we wondered how it would go, and people are just absolutely chomping at the bit to get a tattoo at Meatstock.
Yeah, and the part that weeds me out is a lot of people are getting Meatstock logos.
It's cool.
Like, there's one right there.
Yeah. And they're getting time stamped as well. And yeah, just heaps of good trad flash, quick, ready to go. I think that one there, he forgot to put a year that he was at Meatstock on there. So he's got to somehow get that put in there. But yeah, man, super fun. If I had time, I'd definitely sit down and get a tattoo. But obviously working our butts off at the event. Plus you've got to think about what you're going to get. How's it going to heal amongst a working environment? But yeah, I'm super pumped for it, man.
Hats off to Jacob Cross and the whole crew there, because there's a few videos that the tattooists did and they smashed out a ton of tattoos, did some really great work, and it's a little bit of a souvenir of a great weekend.
Yeah, bloody oath it is.
Okay, on the menu, we're getting nearly at the end and I'm hungry.
Hell yeah.
All right, I'm going to flick over to these videos here and I'm going to play them while you talk about it, but just so we're aware, this is a meat church recipe, is that right?
It's a loosely translated meat church recipe. Like the quantities and all that are the same, but I've just done my my cooking method a bit different. The way Meat Church does it is he melts the caramel once he's half done the brownie, pours the caramel over the top, finishes with more brownie batter, and the thing's just a big gooey mess. I wasn't really into that sort of thing, so I just did my take on it. It was absolutely cracking. I also added a bit of chili to my butterscotch sauce at the end, so I got a bit of a spiciness in there, mate. But yeah, pretty well it's the same ingredients as the Meat Church caramel brownie, and we're going to have it with some ice cream and some chili butterscotch.
All right, well, as I play this video, just run me through really quickly what's going on here.
We've done the cheats method and we've just bought a pre-boxed brownie mix. We've added an egg, some melted butter. We've got some evaporated milk in there. We're also going to do a bit of vanilla essence. The recipe calls for some craft caramels, which we don't have over here, so I just got these Pascal chocolate caramel coated bits here. Just chuck them in the mix, mixed it up. Yeah, I preheated the smoker to 350 Fahrenheit, and while I was doing all this, that was getting nice and ready. Yeah, decided that it wasn't chocolatey enough, so I threw more choc bits on there. So yeah, threw it in the smoker, and then with the leftover evaporated milk, butter and brown sugar, I've just put that in a little pot, got that on the boil, and made the butterscotch. And last minute I just decided I had a homegrown chili. I just took the top off that and threw it in there to infuse it, put it on the filthy gas stove at home. And
so is that chili in the original recipe?
No.
So you just threw a chili in there to give it a bit of heat?
Yeah, just winged it. I was going to serve it with our hot sauce and ice cream, but I was like, no, I'm going to finish off with this butterscotch. But yeah, when I pull it off the Traeger, it's, you know, your brownie's ready when it's sort of got a crust, but it's still got a bit of jiggle, because you don't want your brownie to bake all the way through. Otherwise, it's just going to be a chocolate slice or a chocolate cake. But the amount of caramel in this thing, so all of those caramel bits basically just melted and set on the bottom, and it's absolutely gooey heaven.
Rightio. And just so I can clarify here, you said smoker with a bit of sarcasm. What's that about?
Oh, every video we put up, mate, there's all the trolls out there that say that a Traeger is not a smoker. But hey, it's a wood-fired oven that's using smoke to cook with. So I think you're fucking wrong, mate.
Look, I just think a Traeger is a smoker for men who have other shit to do.
That's it. And we've got a new slogan here at Under Seasons. Under Season, we cook, you sook.
All right, let's taste this thing.
Let's do it.
Starving, and it does look really, really cool.
Hell
and
yeah.
I will say this. I do like the fact that yours does look a lot more like a brownie. Meat Church's does look great, but it does look very gooey.
Well, you've kind of got to eat his as soon as you cook it, which I cooked this yesterday and had to bring it into the studio. So, yeah, we didn't have that luxury. Yeah,
All
adapt and survive, mate.
Let's tuck into it.
With the magic of technology, there it is.
All right, so I've got my stunt cam here, and what's going on?
We got this chili butterscotch, mate, to go all over it. So,
damn.
just, you know, calories.
So it's the Meat Church Brownie with a bit of ice cream on top.
Yeah, mate, just a bit of Haagen-Dazs vanilla. It's going to be a caramel sex bomb.
Let's jump into it.
Let's go.
God damn it. You know what? You can kind of taste the smokiness in it.
Could be burnt.
No.
Oh, that's good.
The secret to eating on TV apparently is to have little baby bites, but I just smashed 4 big bites of that.
Yeah, but look at the stadia, mate. You've absolutely nailed it today. It's probably because you're wearing a borrowed T-shirt.
I'm very self-conscious now of eating in front of the camera because I've had a shocker.
Yeah, when we do our live episode, mate, you're going to have to be on your best behaviour because you can't edit that shit out.
All right, well, I rate that. I think it's fantastic. There's a lot of caramel.
It is a lot of caramel. I think the recipe called for 60 pieces.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's still only like a 6-portion brownie recipe.
Wow. All right, let's move on to our Encore, and this is a photo that I found on the internet that I feel like I can probably stump you a bit with, but you've got to try and figure out what the hell's going on. So you ready?
Ready. Fucking hell, there's a couple of big handbags in the front there, mate.
So this was posted by The Laundry Life on Facebook, and he says what it's all about right there. What's going on?
Well, you've obviously got a couple of generations of alligator farmers there by the look of it. The young fella's in control of a very hefty Mercury outboard motor there. Pop's looking pretty confident there, letting the young fella drive.
Yes, I think the guy in the photo is Troy Landry, and I think he features on the show Swamp People. And there's a lot to unpack in this photo, but what we're looking at is a kid. He's probably about 10, and he's standing and holding onto a huge outboard motor. They're macking it down the river, and they've got a boat full of alligators.
You want to hope they were dead too.
If they twitched, I'd just jump over.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, that's it. That's the end of episode 21.
It is, mate. We did well.
I feel like that dish was great. We've had a feature-packed episode. Have we mentioned how hot it is in here?
That's pretty muggy, eh? Yeah, Aussie summer still. I think winter's on a Tuesday this year, so hopefully we're in the studio for that day.
Yeah, so we get into the studio. By the time you put your headphones on and you start recording, the pressure's on, you feel it, and it gets hot real quick.
It does. It's good, though.
Yeah. Well, I've had fun. You had a good time?
Bloody oath, mate. Always a good time.
See you on 22.
See you then, bro. Bye.
You.